game. I think this is Mark Dinez flying a PT-26, the Fairchild PT-26 aircraft. Now look at 26, it has the inverted upside down 4-cylinder Ranger engine on the aircraft, running at about 100 horsepower. Our number 2 aircraft taking off. This is Mr. Paul Quinn from Smoketown Airport flying this beautiful PT-23. It's a basic same fuselage as the 26, but it's open cockpit with a radial engine on the front. Now following Paul, we have Mr. Scott McCarthy and his PT-23. Again, the open cockpit airplane, the primary trainer, basic trainer aircraft. Your instructor pilot would sit in the back, you would sit in the front and fly the airplane, you taught how to fly the aircraft. And following number 4 on PT-23, Mr. Dick Smith in that Stomp airplane. That's a biplane aircraft. Again, these aircraft were manufactured right out of Hagerstown, Maryland. The Fairchild plant, well, actually the building is still there, it's no longer producing aircraft. Fairchild probably made famous later on, before they closed the doors, for building the 810 Thunderbolt aircraft, right? The same doors these PT aircraft came out of. Now, Mark Dinez flying our lead PT-26 aircraft. If you ever wanted to know anything about a PT aircraft, you talk to Mark, you talk to his dad, Joe. These two gentlemen know these airplanes. They have restored numerous Oshkosh Award-winning PT aircraft I see flying by for this afternoon. When I say restore, I mean totally restore. The center section of the PT aircraft is a wood construction, a wood spar between the 2 wings of the aircraft, wood spar in the wing of the aircraft. Now think about it, they've got 60-plus-year-old airplanes out there flying with wood. You gotta make sure everything's, that the termites can still hold hands at least. But these guys know how to tear these airplanes apart, reconstruct them to pristine condition, right down to overhauling the engines too. They can take the engines apart, put them back together, and make them sound like a brand new aircraft engine. And here we refer to a biplane. This is the only biplane we have flying here this afternoon. I being the two wings, the top and lower wing of this aircraft, the stamp of the French insignia on the side of the aircraft. Now this airplane that Mark Dinez is flying for is right now coming by, our first PT-26 coming by. This airplane is also based at Tuffkin and New Garden Airport in Pennsylvania. Mark and Dad has moved their rebuilding process, their plant, up to Smoketown Airport. Now they're rebuilding these airplanes at Smoketown Airport. They used to do it at New Garden Airport. Now they moved up to Smoketown. Now this silver PT-23 coming through for us right now, being flown by Mr. Paul Quinn, is based at Smoketown Airport. This airplane is number 1, the first PT-23 being delivered to the Army Air Force, right here flying by for today. Numero uno to the Army Air Force. Here the distance inline engines are round radial engines. A little tidbit of information for you guys like engines out there. Radial engines are always odd number cylinders per bank. Now you say, what do you mean per bank? Well, some of our engines are 2, 3, and 4 banks, 4 rows of cylinders. Any round radial engine is going to be an odd number per bank. So if you have a 7-cylinder radial, you can have a 14-cylinder radial because you have a second bank of cylinders. But it's always going to be an odd number of cylinders per row. Per row. And these round radial engines, they produce their maximum horsepower at about 1,900 RPMs. They're not turning a whole lot of RPMs. Wait till you hear the B-25s go out, and their maximum RPM is 2,300 RPM. Now you notice a PT-26 coming by, the Mark's flying, they have a full canopy overhead. There's also a PT-19 aircraft identical to that with an open cockpit. That'd be the PT-19. The PT-26, the Canadians like that airplane because a fully enclosed cockpit. It's a little bit warmer up there in the cold days of the north. There's Paul Quinn waving as he flies by this beautiful #1 aircraft delivered to the Army Air Corps. Again, this is Mr. Scott McCarthy and his PT-23 coming by.
PT flying at the track. Be advised of 2 large hawks over the ILS, track side ILS at about 200 feet over the trees. Roger that, hope we can see him. We're over there. They pay you the big bucks. They're still there. Yeah, they're right over the top of the ILS shack at about 250 feet. Should be above you, Mark. Check your 11 o'clock right now. Still nothing. He should be about 8 above you. Got the 1. All right.
Yes, that's Paul. Blowing the horn to get the heck out of his way. He's mounted the air going his PT-23. It didn't come from the factory with that. Like Paul said, it didn't come with it, but it'll go with it.
Yeah, it is.
Now these aircraft are fabric airplanes. And when I say fabric, I mean fabric. It's a 4130 chromoly tube, welded tube fuselage of the aircraft, wood spar to wing, wooden ribs leading from the leading edge to the trailing edge of wing over top of that spar, covered in fabric. And in its day, it was covered in fabric. It could have been cotton back then. They'd pull the cotton over when the aircraft sticks up to make it fit. Throw some water in, throw some heat on it, make it shrink. Then they start brushing on a dope finish onto the wing on that fabric. That would seal up the holes in the cotton fabric itself. Then they put the paint on it as you see it today. When you see gray, it's usually a base coat butyrate dope on the aircraft. That's the color of it. So again, these aircraft, you don't want to smoke around any of the airplanes on the rim this afternoon. I know they can't hear me over there, but no smoking around airplanes most all the time. Because again, that is a very highly flammable aircraft. You remember the thing called the Hindenburg that burned up there in New Jersey? Well, it was covered the same thing these airplanes are covered with. You see what happened? Let alone the hydrogen. Elbert, PT aircraft are flying by for us safely. I want to thank Mr. Tom Duffy over the airport. Been such a gracious host to all the Warbird pilots and all the crews this weekend. We want to thank Vernon's Rest Airport Restaurant too for feeding us this morning out there and yesterday morning. and supplying the food over to Tom Duffy's hangar for all the Warbird crews and the pilots. What a great job they've done this weekend.
They do. Hey, what happened to Howdy's wing? Take a look.
Is that the actual planes talking?
Yeah, Howdy heard that too.
Moment time. Mr. Mark Diness comes through his PT-26 for the next photo pass. These 60-plus-year-old airplanes. This airplane was probably built back by 1940 or 41. Mr. Paul Quinn and his PT-23. Again, the first one delivered to the Army Air Corps.
Yeah, he had too good a time at the wedding. Yeah.
And Mr. Scott McCarthy is PT-23 coming through for us. And Dick Smith and his nice biplane staff coming through for us this afternoon. If you learn to fly World War II, a lot of guys, a lot of P-47 pilots that we met this weekend that flew P-47 right off of this field 60-plus years ago. A lot of history at Millville Airport. If you've never had a chance to walk through the Millville Army Airfield Museum,
we'll do a section take up, please, and clear and then cruise with China.
Walk through the museum and see what they've got over there and see the history of this airport.
Roger that.